cancer and weight loss. I'm Andrea Schneider, health and fitness expert, and I'm with my friend Karen. Karen, please introduce yourself.
Hey, Andrea, Karen Langston here. I am a healthy gut advisor training health professionals, health coaches, and network marketing professionals.
That was a mouthful, so good job. So we're going to talk a little bit about cancer and weight loss. And so not that you get cancer and you lose weight, that often happens, but really more about why you would want to lose weight and get to your normal weight so that you could help prevent getting cancer. And specifically, I'm going to talk about breast cancer since that's what I've experienced already. And I've done a lot of research, and I wrote a book on breast cancer. I have it around here somewhere. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Here's my book. And You Are Not Alone, Life After a Breast Cancer Diagnosis, published about 5 years ago. I was diagnosed in 2006. It was published in 2010. And I did a lot of research. And one of the things that I realized, and I hadn't really given it much thought before, is that you really want to get to your normal weight, whatever that is for you. We don't have to be super thin, but we want to be a healthy fit. So I've seen people who are super skinny, but they're not healthy. So I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about getting to your ideal normal weight. And I'm going to give you one reason why that's important, especially for breast cancer, and especially if you find out that you're something called estrogen receptor positive. And I think most ladies probably don't find that out until they've been diagnosed with breast cancer and they do the lab and all that and your pathology. So your body stores estrogen, and you want estrogen. It goes through your body. And Karen will talk more about that in a second, about estrogen and why we need it. But basically, the more weight you carry on your body, the more estrogen you will store. And so if your breast cancer is stimulated by estrogen, then that will increase your risk of getting breast cancer if you store more fat. So I hope that makes sense. The more fat you have, the more estrogen you store. And then if you're stimulated by estrogen, that could cause you breast cancer. So you want to decrease your body fat. So I'm not saying decrease necessarily the fat content of the food you're eating. That might be the case, but you're going to have a balanced diet, and you need some fat in your diet, a good balance of healthy fats, healthy carbohydrates, and healthy proteins. So Karen, can you elaborate more on that, please?
Yeah, sure. Well, there's a couple of things. We have to look at why women may become estrogen dominant, and it really goes back to looking at the types of foods that we're eating, as well as what we have in our environment, as well as what we are drinking and eating. And what I'm talking about are plastics in particular, or our xenoestrogens, to take it one step further. And xenoestrogens are chemical compounds. They're a type of xenohormone that can imitate estrogen in the body, and they can either be from a synthetic or a natural compound source. So we can get into that a little bit more, but just basically, most of the xenohormones, or xenoestrogens as they're called, they're usually made up in laboratories. They're synthesized from chemicals, but they have the ability to act as estrogen in the body, but they can't do the functions of normal estrogens. And so and we'll talk about this in a minute, but if our liver isn't able to break these down, then that's when they get stored in the fat cells. And the more fat cells you have, the more you can accumulate these xenoestrogens.
So xenoestrogens. So a lot of us probably aren't familiar with where we're getting that. We've heard of estrogen, but so our xenoestrogens, where are we getting those and how are they getting into our body? So you mentioned plastic. So like those little cheapy plastic bottles, do they have xenoestrogens?
You know, I'm glad that you brought that up, because this absolutely drives me crazy. Okay, everybody's talking about bisphenol A, or BPAs, and that's a form of xenoestrogens. So we know that BPAs are causing cancers, and, you know, we had them taken out of baby bottles and babies' products. But we're not talking about the rest of the xenoestrogens that are making up any type of plastic. So even if that plastic water bottle says BPA free, it still contains xenoestrogens. And so it can be good quality plastic, it can also be cheap plastic, but it's going to leach into the food more so in a cheap type plastic, if you will, or a plastic that's not supposed to be used again. So like a a margarine container or a fast food container, that kind of thing. And so we have to be careful about what we're bringing in. But xenoestrogens are also in our pesticides, herbicides. So these are getting into our foods as well. And so it's not just our plastics, it's also what we're bringing into our body in terms of our food as well as our liquids.
So in a perfect world, or a more perfect world, we're trying to eat more organic vegetables and fruit so they don't have the pesticides and things like that. And then maybe having a glass water bottle as opposed to some cheap water bottle that you buy. And then you've got here in California, we've got the 5-cent recycle fee, that you get 5 cents back. And I'm thinking, this is just, these are obviously cheap quality. It's so inexpensive. And that really worries me over the long run. We've been using these water bottles for quite a while, the effects that they're going to have on people. So I totally agree with you. And same thing like parabens. Parabens, another thing, and the things that we're putting on our body often have parabens, another harmful chemical that could be cancer causing. So we want to be decreasing all those things that, if we use that little water bottle one time and we got cancer, of course, we would stop. It's just like smoking. If you took one puff from a cigarette and you suddenly got wrinkles all over your face and got lung cancer, you would stop, and other people would be, oh gosh, can't do that. But these things we don't necessarily know. They're silently leaching basically into our body and causing long-term effects.
Well, and it's also an accumulative effect as well, right? I mean, xenoestrogens are in regular fingernail polish or toenail polish. Yeah. It's in the nail polish remover. It's in glues. It's in our cleaning supplies. It's in our car exhaust. It's in the emulsifiers that are found in our soaps and our cosmetics. And so think about, it's not just in our food or the plastics, but everything that we're coming into contact with. And I think one of the worst things you can do is not only eat food out of a plastic container, but microwave it. I mean, you are just, because what happens is when you heat up that plastic, it's just leaching the xenoestrogens right into the food. But it's also, if you're freezing in plastic as well, there's some research indicating that when we freeze plastic, that when it starts to defrost, it's leaching the xenoestrogens into the food as well. And I know from my own journey that just by getting rid of the plastics and stop drinking from plastic and, changing my diet and getting all of the bad chemicals and that kind of thing in my home out, that I was able to pretty well normalize my hormones. And I mean, in order for you to be estrogen dominant, that means that your other hormones are out of balance. So it's really about, how do we balance those hormones? Well, we have to start looking at what's in our lifestyle as well as what we're eating.
And I totally agree. So it's, unfortunately, we have what we call the standard American diet, the SAD diet, and people aren't necessarily figuring out that there's a connection between what they put in their mouth and then how they feel, and how they feel short-term as well as long-term. So we want to be putting better quality food into our body, better combinations of foods, like I mentioned, the healthy fats, carbs, and proteins, and eating, I like to eat what is called a low glycemic way, a way that doesn't spike my blood sugar. And so my blood sugar isn't like the roller coaster ride all day. It's more stable. And the natural byproduct of that is I've gotten to my normal weight. So you want to do what you can do to prevent cancers and a lot of illnesses. And Karen's made some excellent points of getting the pesticides out of your food, getting the bad chemicals out of your home, getting rid of the plastic. So I've switched to all glass containers. So like if we store food or anything, I put them in glass containers and put them in the freezer. And I just went through my cabinet the other day and matched them all up, tops to bottom. Somehow, I don't know if this happens to other people, but somehow I wind up with more tops than bottoms sometimes, or vice versa. Can't find. So I matched up what I've got and got rid of the rest.
Yeah,
and
I did that too.
All glass though, no more plastic.
Yay,
And
I'm so glad to hear that.
yeah, I've been that way for a couple of years. I started realizing there's just no value in those little plastic things, and they are leaching chemicals. And I've already had cancer, don't want it again. So I'm doing what I can do to prevent getting it again. And so that's what we're asking for you, to make some small changes in your life. You don't have to go to a total extreme, but think about the things you could do in your home or your eating that could make a difference over the long term.
Yeah, so start slowly. Make a list of all the things that you need to change. So start looking at pasture-raised animal meat as opposed to conventional meat, because then you're getting rid of a lot of the pesticides and the herbicides. And we're also not getting all of the medications as well, because there's xenoestrogens in the medications that they give to conventional animals. Also, one of the biggest things you can do is stop spraying your lawn with pesticides. I mean, you have complete control over that. So stop spraying your lawns. Wear gloves if you have to come into contact with things that do have xenoestrogens in it, so glues and solvents, cleaning solutions, that kind of thing. But I mean, why not just get rid of them as well and go to more of a natural type of cleaner? I mean, the best thing in the world is vinegar, lemon juice, water, and baking soda. And then also start looking at your cosmetics as well. Our cosmetics have phthalates and xenohormones in those as well. And our skin is the biggest organ on our body, and anything that we put on our skin goes right into our bloodstream and up to the liver.
That's exactly right. And so when we look at some of these products, are we going to see, like on the label, say our cleaning stuff, is it going to say xenoestrogen, or what is it going to say?
That's what bothers me. I mean, we're in this fight right now for getting our food labeled, whether it's GMO or not, which I think is ridiculous. But I'm hoping, I know that we're starting to see some labels, and I wish I could remember the name of the one that I get. Oh, I hope it comes to me. But our tins, for instance, inside the tin there's a lining, and that lining is with bisphenol A, or BPA, which is again a xenoestrogen. So there are some companies now, and I'm seeing it, and it's one in particular, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but it'll literally say on the tin, it'll say BPA free. The
Right.
lining is BPA free. So you're not going to see stuff that says xenoestrogen free, unfortunately, because we've got to wait for people to wake up and start getting angry about this until we can get this out of our food chain. But at least you can look for cans, and you're normally going to find these in the organic section or the health food section, or those types of stores. But it'll say lining BPA free on it, and that's how you know that there aren't going to be any xenoestrogens in there. The word organic as well.
Right.
You're looking, say that it's, that it's certified organic, then that means that there's very a very minimal chance that there would be xenoestrogens in that. Those are some of the things that you can look for. But like you said, look for things in glass. I went to go buy tomato paste the other day, and I was literally thinking in my head, oh, I don't want to buy tomato paste. I need to figure out how to make my own tomato paste because it's always in cans. And I happened to be at the grocery store, and I was ecstatic. I bought 6 of them, Andrea, because they were in jars. I finally can get tomato paste in jars. I was so super excited. Nobody understands why that's so exciting, but it is to me, because
Yeah.
I know that there is no BPA in that jar now. So
Right.
yeah, start looking. So if you're picking up a spaghetti sauce, let's say, one's in a can and one's in a jar, just put the one in the can back and
Right.
go for the one that's in the jar. So that's what we need to do.
Even if it's 20 cents more to buy the jar as opposed to the can. You'll feel the benefit long term.
Oh
So,
yeah, absolutely.
so say with cleaning supplies, what are we wanting to look for on the label? What don't we want in the product that's going to also be harmful? I mean, just get
Well,
food.
yeah, I think you have to be able to, just like your food, you have to be able to understand what's in your cleaning products. So essential oils, if it says vinegar, baking soda, those kinds of things. The same thing with your food. You're looking for words that you can pronounce and understand what they are. That's the same for your cleaning products as well. Um, you know, don't what's Hydrogen peroxide is a great way to clean your clothes. So instead of going for bleach, go for hydrogen peroxide, and you'll find that in, like I said, the health food stores healthy section as well. So it's just the same thing. If you can't understand the ingredients in your food and you don't know what they are, the same thing with your cleaning products. Start looking at what they're derived from, and can you pronounce them? And I don't have a toxic cleaner to put in front of me to say, okay, this is what you need to stay away from. But if it's got in case of ingestion, call the poison control immediately. that's enough for me to put it back on the shelf, right? Or I don't know if they do this in the States or not. I've never really paid attention, but in Canada at one time, if you picked up a product and it had a cross and bone on it or a skeleton, then you knew, okay, I think I need to put this back, because if it's going to cause me to become sick, then I don't think I want to be cleaning with this.
And our conversations re-inspired me, because for a while I was making my own household cleaners, and then I kind of stopped, and I was using this book called The Healthy Home. And on page 194, they give a lot of great simple homemade solutions. They can make an all-purpose cleaner with 1 quart of warm water plus 4 tablespoons baking soda plus 1 teaspoon of vinegar. So exactly what you said. Mm-hmm. And window cleaners. So if people want these recipes, you can contact me. So you can find me at www.mybestme.us is my website, and then click on the contact. And then tell me you want some homemade solutions. And maybe I'll put some of them at the very bottom of our dialogue here. If you scroll down after this video, I'll list some of these recipes for you as well. So exactly right. You know what? And it's cheaper and safer to just make your own. It takes a few minutes. You know, grab some lemons, like a wood polish. And I used to do that for a while. And then I recently stopped, and I'm going to do it again. So
my husband, he's amazing, Andrea. He squeezes lemon juice, and we have a spray bottle that's on our windowsill next to our soap, and it's just lemon juice, vinegar, and water. And then I add some drops of essential oil. So in the winter, I like clove and cinnamon oil, and in the spring I do lemon and lime, and it just makes it smell really nice. And then to clean my leather, I use coconut oil and orange oil, which is your essential oil, or lemon oil. Yeah, I use orange and lemon oil, and I've never had a problem, and I've been doing that for years. And everything just smells really nice, you know, and I know now that you can use baking soda on your carpets. I don't use anything on my carpets, but some people, you can add essential oil and the baking soda together and, you know, do that on your carpet. And I know that when I first met my husband, he always had a maid for his home, and then I started traveling back and forth, and I would come to his home and I'd say, look, I can't stand the smell of your house. You've got to get rid of these toxic chemicals. Yeah. So he had the maid come over, and I taught them how to use all these natural products. And he said, you know, when I used to come home, I thought my house smelled amazing, but all I can smell now is chemicals. And so then we switched them, and he says, I love coming home. It just smells so amazing now. So now he knows how to make all these products. In your bathroom, baking soda and vinegar, it just bubbles up. And, you know, once it's finished bubbling, it's just really easy to scrub whatever you need to scrub off. Ooh, and stainless steel, the best thing for stainless steel is you just take some vinegar and water, and you just wipe it down. Then you can use either coconut oil or olive oil, and you just put it on a clean cloth, and you just rub it in the direction of the grain. And I did it probably 4 months ago, and I haven't had to touch it.
Wow.
Works amazing.
And you brought up a really good point. So sometimes people think, oh, well, that smells clean, you know, like the rose scented this or that, air freshener. You know what? Yeah. Those are harmful chemicals.
Endocrine disruptors.
Yeah, they will not be good for your body. You may like the smell at first, but once you step away from those and you smell the more natural things like Karen and I are talking about, you will not like those smells anymore. Like when I go into a public bathroom and someone's just sprayed, it's like, oh my God, this is so disgusting.
Yeah. So do use diffusers. You can use diffusers with essential oils, or if you don't have a diffuser, grab an old stainless steel pot. I have one that I don't use for cooking, and I'll just boil water, and I'll throw in some essential oil in there. If I happen to have some cinnamon sticks, I throw that in there. If I have cloves, I throw that in there, and I just let it simmer, and it will make the house smell really nice.
Exactly. Or just pick, like I grow lavender. I just pick some lavender, like I let it dry a little bit, and then I pick it off my bushes and just put that in the house. Or grow some scented things in your own garden and bring them in the house. It really smells good, and it's so natural and healthful. So yeah. I hope we've given some points. We kind of, strayed a little bit from our original conversation of getting to your natural weight, but all these things matter. So the goal is to be as healthy as you can be. So you want to be your natural weight. You want to not be putting toxins in or on your body. You don't want to be breathing them, digesting them, inhaling them. So take 1, 2, 3, 4 of the pointers we've given you. Switch to glass containers. Don't microwave plastic for sure. Don't freeze plastic. try to decrease the toxins in your house and that you're digesting into your body. Does that pretty much wrap it up, Karen? What else?
Yeah, absolutely. But we really didn't go off topic, Andrea, when you think about it, because these xenoestrogens, they are actually stopping us from losing weight. And so, like you said in the beginning, if you have too much estrogens in your body, what does estrogens do? They allow tissues to grow. And so if these tissues are growing, that's going to lead to cancer, right? So we really didn't go off topic. If anything, we're only talking about one aspect of how to lose weight naturally, if you will, so that we can decrease that amount of estrogens in our body.
And that's exactly what you just said. That's what you really want to be doing. You don't want to be doing some of these fad diets. And sometimes you need a little stimulation of getting on the right program to get you to eating better and being more health conscious. But you don't want to go on these weird diets that you lose 40 pounds and you can't maintain it. And then you go back to your old lifestyle and then you gain 50. And so I'm going to be talking about that a little bit with another video with another friend, Deborah. And we're going to go more into that topic. But, so you want to be living more back to the way it maybe used to be when people didn't have all these little weird things that we buy at the store now that 40, 50, 100 years ago, these ladies would have been, no, I'm not using that. Right, Karen? So we're back to the way they used to, a little more natural.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So thank you for watching our videos. Karen, how are people going to find you?
I train all health professionals, including health advocates. So healthygutadvisor.com. That's how they can get a hold of me.
And I'll have your link and your website down below this video. So if you've watched the whole video, look down below under description. And then you could find me. I teach online courses. The Best You is my course. It's primarily for women over 40 who want better mood, sleep, less stress, eating better, getting back to their natural weight. So it's a 6-week online course, and my students have had great results. So you can find my link down below as well, but it's www.mybestme.us. So thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm Andrea Schneider and Karen Langston. We are so happy and honored that you've been here with us, and we hope to connect with you again soon.
Take care.
Bye.